everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Nick and Knarf. Nick and Frank, two brothers bringing you music that hopefully is delightful. Today we're going to be doing one song by two different artists. We're going to be doing You Really Got Me by the original writers and players of the song You Really Got Me, the Kinks. And then we're going to be doing the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo. We're going to be doing Oingo Boingo's version of You Really Got Me.
Yeah, that was the original name of Oingo Boingo. They were called the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo, formed in 1979, actually 75. And then they evolved into just Oingo Boingo in 1979. And their version of the Kinks, You Really Got Me, was on their opening debut album, which you see over Nick's shoulder, called Only a Lad, which featured the hit song from that album, Only a Lad, which was their big song. But very few people know about this version of the great Kinks classic, You Really Got Me. And I've been wanting to share this with people for a while because it is such a amazing, fantastic version. So we wanted to put them side by side and play them for you, and we really hope you're going to enjoy them.
Now, just a little footnote. I know very little about Oingo Boingo. Frank's been to 4 concerts. Yep. Our little brother Orlando, I know, has been to a couple as well.
Oh, yeah.
And both of them really love these guys.
Yeah, I saw Oingo Boingo in 1980 at Westlake High School.
Yeah.
First time I ever saw him there.
Which is in Thousand Oaks, California.
Yeah, Thousand Oaks, California. My little brother Orlando was just in love with him. He was into all the new wave scene in LA, you know, and he told us, "Oh, you got to go see Oingo Boingo," and they were fantastic. And then we saw him again on New Year's Eve, I believe it was 1981. They did a New Year's Eve show, and they have a tremendous version of Old Lang Syne. You got to hear. You could probably find it on YouTube, but it's really, really great. And then I saw him when I moved to Arizona. We saw him twice in Arizona at the University of Arizona, once in a small ballroom and once in their main arena. They are just fantastic, led by the great Danny Elfman, very, very well known, not just for Oingo Boingo, but for being the composer of The Simpsons theme song and also the movie soundtrack Weird Science and a whole bunch of other other movie soundtracks and stuff. So Oingo Boingo is just I mean, we loved Oingo Boingo an awful lot. They're really edgy, new wave, dark, but Danny Elfman is just an amazing composer with an incredibly eclectic mind and everything. And wait till you hear their version of You Really Got Me, the Kinks song that came out in what year, Nicky?
64.
1964.
Man, 64.
The Kinks, the amazing, legendary band from England, formed in 1962, and it was with the brothers Ray and Dave Davies. They had over 25 studio albums, 6 live albums, sold
50 million
records. Just great
records.
But anyway, this is the first time we've done this, where we've actually doing a cover. We don't really want to do a lot of cover comparisons, but this one is these are so far apart that I think you really got to hear, because I think most people have not heard the Oingo Boingo version.
Absolutely.
I think everybody's pretty familiar with the original Kinks version. Anyway, we want to thank you for joining us today, and we'd like to invite you to please subscribe, like, and share. Give us your comments after you watch the video, because I think you're really going to have a lot to talk about after you hear this. And if you have already subscribed, Nick and I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because we do this for you. We don't have a huge following, but we know that those of you who do follow us,
who cares?
All those of you who do, I mean, you are loyal, and we love you, and we do this for anyone who loves great music.
Now, what gets me about the Kinks, I remember that we had what was it, an album, or did we have a? Yeah,
it was their greatest hits. You know, the Kinks put out the greatest hits album after their only 3 years when they were together. They had already put out a greatest hits album.
Yeah, I think I was like 10 or 11, and this was about as close to hard rock and roll that I was listening to. You know, so I remember we were in our bedroom, in the front house. We had 2 houses, and so we had moved to the front house after remodeling, and we shared this bedroom in the back, and of course we closed the door, because the Italian grandma would come in and kill us if we had it really loud, you know. But
we had this little brown and white Victrola where you lift up the lids, you know, and then you had the normal, thing where you put LPs on, and then you had that other thing that you put on for 45s, you know, and we played it on that. And this album we played over and over again. But this song really got me. So, I mean, I really dug it. And
you know, Ray Davies, his voice is kind of average, but in this one, it is phenomenal. I love the way he sings it.
Yeah, between this one and All Day and All the Night, those two were our two favorites. And then I fell in love with a whole bunch of other Kinks stuff. But anyway, let's get into it, all right? Let's listen to the original You Really Got Me from 1964. Here they are, the Kinks.
The Kinks.
So I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Don't ever set me free. I always wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Don't ever set me free. I always wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me.
Yeah.
So complicated, those two notes.
Two
man.
chord song. Do you ever hear a song that gets more out of less than this song?
Absolutely.
Two chords, and that it sounds like there's so much more going on in this song.
Exactly.
It was really one of their longer numbers, 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah.
So I was almost falling asleep. It was just putting me to
We
sleep. It
didn't
was so
bore you
long.
to death on that one. Yeah.
It's a great rocker, just a tremendous rocker.
It is a great one. I mean, in 1964, 65, 66, man, oh man, before Led Zeppelin and Scream and all these other guys were coming out, this was the song, man.
That's right. This one, All Day and All the Night. These guys just came up. This is really what the essence of rock and roll is. It's just basic, driving, hard, catching rhythms. And the Kinks were the masters of it in that early phase of not only rock and roll in general, British rock, especially before that British invasion really came full frontal on us. But anyway, I know you guys probably love this song. Let us hear what you think about the Kinks version of the original of You Really Got Me. But Nikki, what do you think about the song itself, other than the fact that it has two chords?
I love it. I mean, you know, this made up many of our early years of loving music, and especially as we entered into the teens and it got us into different music. And don't forget, this song, I think, went #1 in England. And don't forget all the great bands. You had the Stones, you had the Beatles, you had so many other bands out there. This song made it to #1.
That's right. The Kinks oftentimes are sort of in the background of the British scene when you think of all the great British bands. I mean, they're up there, but they're not top of mind a lot. But then when you really revisit them, you really realize over 60-year legacy of great stuff from Ray and Dave Davies. Just great.
And you know, we know that the essence of rock and roll started in the late 50s. And, you know, it was pretty simple. Of course, the lyrics were ridiculously stupid. I hated those bop shoe up do up de doos, but the Brits took it one step further and made it, you know, just driving rock and roll, and they added enough to make you just say, wow, this sounds different. You know, it was harder, it was rougher, and it was more melodic in a strange way than late 50s. I'm not a 50s music guy, just letting you know. So, but love this song.
Okay, well, anyway, glad you're with us for sharing this interesting, innovative look at one song and a cover version. Now, as simple as the Kinks version is, we're going to the other pole with what Oingo Boingo did with the song, and we'll be back with that version right after this break. We're going to take a little break, okay, to change the CDs. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Hope you got a chance to get yourself a little refreshment or take a little breather. Thank you again for joining us today for another episode of Nick Knarf. And today we've got a really big treat for those of you who never heard it before. This song is really fabulous. I think it's great. Like I said, I have seen Oingo Boingo 4 times. They're one of my favorite bands. I've got almost all their albums. They had 8 studio albums and a couple of live albums, and their farewell album is just fantastic. They performed at the Universal Amphitheater when they did their final concert. They have it on video and on CD. But Danny Elfman is just a genius. They wrote so many amazing songs and always complex, rich, amazing instrumentation. And this version of You Really Got Me is no different. So Nick has heard this before, right, Nicky?
Yes.
Okay, now, for those of you who haven't, you're in for a treat. Here we go. This is Oingo Boingo off of their debut album, Only a Lad. It is the fifth song on the album. It's their version of the Kinks, You Really Got Me. Here we go. Love this middle lead part here.
other side. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so attentive at night. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so attentive. What I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so attentive at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me.
Like the way it fades out here, right? Like this. Oh, what'd you think of that, Nikki?
It's been a long time since I've heard it. I think I remember this song the day you were released from the asylum, and I think that's the day that I picked you up. You know, it's very creative. I mean, really creative, frantic, but creative. And
that's Oingo Boingo. Frantic is the word for Oingo Boingo's music most of the time.
Yeah, but very creative. A lot of little nuances that they put in there, and that you're right. That part, you really got me. You know,
Isn't that tasty with the layers of the harmonies and then the horns in the background, the tempo shifts? I mean, what they did with a 2-chord song from the Kinks, they turned it into like a symphony, a mini symphony, or like an excerpt from like Phantom of the Opera or something. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a fabulous version. It's so incredibly energetic, so rich and complex. But it just goes to show you what one creative mind starts with, another creative mind can take. And that's, again, it shows you the history of rock at work. How many times we talked about it, like our buddy Andy in Oregon was pointing out that Joe Walsh had ripped off the little thing from Woman from Tokyo, right? Yeah. For his song Rocky Meadows, you know? And the thing is, everybody likes to pay homage to something else. They want to show that whatever that material was, they respected so much. And they wanted to pay honor to it by doing something different, either moving their lick into their song, reinterpreting it, or in this case of Oingo Boingo, completely reinventing the whole perception of the song.
Absolutely. You know? I mean, who could have thought that song would be in his mind coming out like this?
Absolutely. It just goes to show you that every creative being out there who's brilliant, like Ian Anderson. I mean, we talk about Ian Anderson, how brilliant he is. So many great people who create music. This is what they're always looking to do. They're looking to use their imagination to integrate their own sensibility and at the same time pay tribute to the greats of rock and roll or whatever the music form is. And we get that's why we get so many amazing cover songs sometimes of original numbers. But here, both of them are just wonderful. The original is great for its simplicity and its purity. And then the Oingo Boingo version is exciting and great for its complexity and richness.
I think what makes it nice is the fact that they're not similar. I mean, you know, to do a cover of a song and sound almost the same as the original, that's a cop-out as far as I'm concerned. But doing it this way, not that I'd go out and buy the single, don't get me wrong, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it was entertaining. It was a little frantic from my untrained ears, but I can't help but respect the talent. It was well done.
Well, we hope you guys liked it, and please leave us your comments. I'm sure we're going to get a flood of comments on this one. At least I hope we do, because it is such a stark contrast. But we really hope you enjoyed hearing both versions. And if you never heard the Oingo Boingo one, I hope you thought it was something special.
Okay, I want to know how many times you guys saw Oingo Boingo in concert. Did anybody see the Kinks in concert?
Never saw the Kinks,
Never
unfortunately.
saw them. They came, I remember, to the Hollywood Bowl. They came to the Greek Theater, but I don't think we never saw them.
I don't think I ever saw them either.
But
I
don't think I've ever seen them.
Oingo was a little cheaper and a little more accessible, so I was able to see
he went to a high school, Westlake High School, although that's where all the rich kids went. But still, I mean, I'll never forget the day they told me they were going to an Oingo Boingo concert at Westlake High, and I'm going, who the hell's Oingo Boingo? I mean, I didn't know.
And it was the start of new wave and stuff. I mean, they were doing stuff like, I got to say this before we sign off. I got to tell you this because they were spitting all over. The big thing back in new wave punk days was people spitting at the artists from the audience. And there were a bunch of kids spitting at Danny Elfman during the performance. And he says, hey, if you don't so stop, I'm going to come down there to kick your asses. I mean, he went in the microphone because he didn't like it. Even though that was kind of the new kind of way of showing approval, spitting on the performer. But I'll never forget when he did that. But anyway, check out Oingo Boingo. This album is really striking. And all the Oingo Boingo work is interesting. And of course, the Kinks. You got to look into the Kinks catalog because they're just so great. But thank you again for joining us today. We care for your ears. Nick and I are so grateful for your support.
Frank, it's time I got to get you back to the asylum.
Time to get back in the...
We got to
go. Okay, see you next time, guys.
Take your pills.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.